Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another tank mechanic simulator. And here we are today in the grease pit working on a Panzer IV-G. So sit back, enjoy the restoration footage I have of the Panzer IV-G, and I am going to dive on into some of the history of the Panzer IV. When the Krupp factory trial vehicle 622 went into production, no one knew it would become the mainstay of the German army. Trial vehicle 622 would enter production under the designation of Panzerkampfwagen 4, commonly known as Panzer IV. In 1935, German High Command put in an order for a tank to support the Panzer III. Now, that is a completely different concept. Tanks are generally designed to support infantry, but that was actually not the case with the early Panzer IV being designed to support a tank. At the time, the Panzer III mounted a 37mm anti-tank gun, so it was thought a tank with a 75mm howitzer-like main gun was needed to be used against fortification positions and bunkers. Mann, Krupp, and Rheinmetall Borsig would all design and produce a prototype. Out of the three prototypes, Krupp's design would be accepted for service and enter production. The Panzer IV was the brainchild of General Heinz Guderian. At the time, General Heinz Guderian was essentially the German military theorist on tanks and tank doctrine. Ideally, each battalion in a Panzer division would have 3 medium tank companies of Panzer IIIs and 1 heavy tank company of Panzer IVs. Production began in 1936, with it officially entering service in 1937. The first production model was the Panzer IV-A. It was powered by a Maybach HL108TR engine, and it was used in conjunction with an SGR-75 transmission. The engine is actually mounted at the rear, with the transmission mounted at the front. Hence is why if you look at the suspension, the drive sprocket is in the front of the vehicle. The tank could achieve a maximum road speed of 31 km/h. That is 19.26 miles per hour for my American audience. The main gun was a 75mm Kampfwagen Kanon 37 L24, or also known as KWK 37 L24. L24 is the caliber length of the barrel. So essentially, to put it simple, you take 75 times that by 24, and that gives you the caliber length. A MG34 was mounted coaxially to the main gun, and another 37mm, MG34 was mounted in the bow of the hull. Originally, the Panzer IV was designed to have a torsion bar suspension, but due to the urgent requirement for the new tank, it was decided to produce the Panzer IV with a double leaf spring bogie suspension system instead. After only producing 35 Panzer IV-As, production moved to producing the Panzer IV-B. The 4B mounted the more powerful Maybach HL120TR engine. The transmission was also changed to the new SSG-75. The upper glacis plate was also thickened from 14.5mm to 30mm. A total of 42 Panzer IV-Bs were produced before the introduction of the Panzer IV-C in 1938. The chief upgrade of the new Panzer IV was a newly designed commander's cupola. After producing 40 Panzer IV-Cs, the engine would be improved as well, now mounting the HL 120 TRM engine. The turret armor would also be increased to 30 millimeters from the 20 millimeter thickness as well. All said and done, a total of 140 Panzer IVCs would be produced. And in August of 1939, production would change once again to the Panzer IV-D. The Panzer IV-D had its armor increased in various locations, including the gun mantlet and sides. After the invasion of Poland ended, it was decided to adopt the Panzer IV into general service, and production was increased because of this. A total of 248 Panzer IV-Ds were produced. It was planned to mount a 50 millimeter Pak 38 anti-tank gun onto the Panzer IV-D, but with the rapid victory in France, the order of the 80 new Panzer IVs was canceled before production could begin. So anyway, folks, that's going to wrap up the history section of this video, but I'm going to let the video continue, and you can watch some more of the restoration and things of that nature, and I will join you back towards the end of the video. So anyway, folks, that's actually going to wrap up things from that footage of the restoration of the Panzer IV. And I just covered the early history of the Panzer. When I dive in for part 2, I'm actually going to cover more of the war, its performance during the war, and some of the later models of the Panzer IV. Also, in the video description, I am going to put a link for my video of the Panzer III in case you missed the Panzer III video, or if you'd like to go back and review the Panzer III video, since I actually did mention the Panzer III video, and it was key. The Panzer III was key to the early design features and use of the Panzer early models of the Panzer IV. But anyway, folks, if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see some more tank mechanic simulator gameplay footage and hear the history about these vehicles from me. Thank you very much again for watching, and have yourself a wonderful week.